Hey everyone, and welcome back to AIPRP. We're doing something a little different tonight. We're going to be diving deep into this year's Academy Awards.
The 97th Academy Awards.
That's right, the 97th.
Yep.
So we're going way beyond just like, who won and who lost.
Right.
We're really going to get into like all the stories and the trends and what this tells us about where the film industry is at right now.
Yeah, it's like a snapshot of the year in film and what people are thinking about, what they're valuing,
Totally.
Yeah.
And we're working from this CNN article that I found that really gets into the nitty-gritty.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we'll be sure to link that in the show notes for you guys.
For sure.
So yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, the first thing that really jumped out at me was that, this year's Oscars took place just a few weeks after those horrible wildfires in L.A.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's a tough one.
It really kind of casts a shadow over the whole thing,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the city was still very much in recovery mode, and the Academy even incorporated fundraising into the ceremony.
Wow.
Yeah, which I think is really cool. It really shows how these big events can bring attention to important causes.
Right.
And help communities to heal. I think there was even a tribute to Los Angeles during the opening.
Oh, wow.
Which is a moment of reflection.
Yeah.
Amidst all the, glitz and glamour.
Right. It's like a reminder that even Hollywood can't escape reality.
Exactly.
But speaking of escaping reality,
Okay.
Amelia Perez,
Ah.
this Netflix musical crime drama thing.
Yeah, what is that all about?
I know, right? It totally swept the nominations. 13.
13 nominations.
That's a lot.
I know. So what do you think it is about this film that captivated the Academy?
Well, 13 nominations is definitely saying something right.
Right.
Maybe it's the whole genre-bending thing.
Yeah.
It's a musical, but it's also a crime drama.
It's like a hybrid. Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what resonated with voters, this freshness, this willingness to experiment.
Right. I got to admit, it definitely piqued my interest.
Yeah.
I'm adding that to my watch list for sure.
Okay.
And what about Zoe Saldana winning Best Supporting Actress for her role in the film?
Oh, yeah. She was amazing. Her performance was so captivating.
Yeah.
And what I thought was really interesting was that she sang and spoke in Spanish for the role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a real testament to her talent. And also, it kind of speaks to the growing recognition of diverse voices in Hollywood,
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's really great to see that reflected in the awards.
For sure.
And her acceptance speech was just so touching.
Yeah.
Dedicating the award to her grandmother and speaking about her heritage.
That was really sweet.
Okay, before we move on, let me just remind you all to like and subscribe to the AIPOP podcast. We love bringing you these deep dives, and your support means the world to us.
All right, back to the Oscars. So Wicked was another big nominee this year.
Yeah, Wicked. 10 nominations.
Yeah, 10 nominations. It didn't quite sweep the awards like Amelia Perez.
Right.
But it did win Best Costume Design.
And those costumes were incredible.
Oh, they were amazing.
Seriously.
Worth the heart.
Yeah. So I'm curious, why do you think Wicked is still such a phenomenon? It's been a hit on Broadway forever, and now it's being adapted into a movie.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it still feels so relevant.
I think it's because it taps into those universal themes, good versus evil friendship, finding your voice. These are things that resonate with people of all ages, and the music is just so catchy.
Oh, yeah.
You can't help but get swept up in it.
I think you're right about the music.
Good.
That's a big part of it.
For sure.
Okay, so speaking of getting swept up, how about Conan O'Brien hosting the Oscars?
Oh, yeah, that was his first time, right?
First time ever.
It was definitely memorable. He brought that classic Conan humor to the stage.
I loved his opening monologue.
Oh, me too. Classic Conan.
And the musical number with Deadpool and the Sandworm.
Oh, my God, that was hilarious.
Who else would even think of that?
Only Conan.
That's so true.
He's one of a kind.
All right, so we've got Escaping Reality with Amelia Perez.
Yeah.
We've got Wicked Defying Gravity.
Uh-huh.
And we've got Conan just being Conan.
Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
So far.
So far.
It's those little moments,
Yeah.
the ones that you don't expect that really make these award shows fun to watch.
Totally. It's like a little peek behind the curtain.
Exactly.
Okay, but speaking of memorable moments,
Right.
we have to talk about Paul Tazewell's win.
Oh, yes.
Best Costume Design for Wicked.
That was huge.
Historic win.
He's the first Black man to ever win in that category.
I know.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, and it really highlights the lack of diversity
Right.
in that category.
Yeah, throughout Oscar history.
It's a big deal.
It is. And I think it's so important not just for, Caswell's own achievement,
Right.
but for what it represents for the industry, you know?
Yeah. Hopefully it paves the way for more diverse voices
I hope so.
to be recognized.
Yeah.
All right, now, before we get too serious,
Yeah.
can we talk about that opening performance?
Oh, yes. Ariana and Cynthia.
Yes. Wicked might not have, won all the awards,
Right.
but that performance was amazing.
Absolutely. Cynthia Erivo's voice is just phenomenal.
Oh, my God.
And Ariana brought her, pop star energy.
Yeah.
It was such a cool fusion of styles.
I'm still humming Defying Gravity.
Me too. It's so catchy.
Okay, but speaking of defying expectations,
Hey!
Conan's hosting style
Yeah,
definitely got people talking.
definitely did. Some people loved it.
Uh-huh.
Some people thought it was a little much for the Oscars.
Yeah.
What did you think? Did his style work for this kind of event?
You know what? I think he brought a much-needed sense of unpredictability
Yeah,
to a night that can sometimes feel a little too rehearsed,
I agree. I mean, his humor is definitely not for everyone,
Right.
but I like that he was willing to take risks,
Uh-huh.
and push some boundaries.
And that Deadpool sandworm thing, I mean, come on. Pure genius.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Okay, but let's not forget about Amelia Perez,
Right.
which took home a ton of awards.
It did.
Best Original Song, Best Director. I mean,
A clean sweep.
so what do you think it was about this film that resonated with people?
I think it was just a really fresh take on some familiar genres.
Okay.
Like, it's a musical, but it's also a crime drama.
Uh-huh.
It's got romance, it's got action,
Right.
and there's even some, social commentary woven in there.
Oh, wow.
And the music is fantastic. The performances are incredible.
Sounds like a must-see.
It is.
But, beyond all the glitz and glam this year's, Oscars did feel a little different
Yeah.
because of the wildfires.
Right. It's hard to celebrate when so many people are still struggling.
Yeah, it's like this really heavy backdrop
Yeah.
to the whole event.
I think the Academy did a good job, though, of acknowledging the situation without overshadowing the celebration.
Yeah, the fundraising was great. And the tribute to L.A. was really touching.
Excellent.
It really added another layer to the whole night.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to go back to Paul Tazewell's win.
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you think this is going to have on future costume designers?
I think it sends a really powerful message,
With that?
that talent and creativity can come from anywhere,
Right.
and that opportunity should be available to everyone.
Regardless of background.
Exactly. It's an inspiration to anyone who's ever been told they can't achieve their dreams.
Yeah, because of who they are or where they come from.
Right.
It's a beautiful reminder that representation matters.
It really does. On screen and behind the scenes.
And speaking of representation,
Yes.
if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Oscars,
Please.
hit that like button and subscribe to the AIPOP podcast for more insightful discussions.
We'd love to have you.
We'll be right back with the final part of our Oscars analysis.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back to AIPOP. It's the final act of our Oscars deep dive.
We've made it.
We have. We've covered a lot of ground here.
A lot.
All the highs and lows, the historic wins, and of course Conan and the Deadpool sandworm musical number.
How could we forget?
Right. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier.
Okay.
The wildfires.
Oh, yeah.
And how they kind of cast a shadow over the whole event.
Right. It's a tough thing to ignore.
Yeah, it's like this really heavy backdrop
Yeah.
to all this celebration.
I think it raises an interesting question, though.
What's that?
Does an awards show, like the Oscars,
Uh-huh.
hold more weight?
Okay.
More meaning when it acknowledges what's happening in the real world?
Outside of Hollywood.
Exactly.
Yeah, it makes you think about the role of entertainment in times of crisis.
It does.
Is it just escapism? Or can it be something more?
I think it can be both.
Okay.
We need entertainment to laugh, to cry,
Uh-huh.
and to be transported to other worlds.
Right.
But when you have these real-world events
Yeah.
that intersect with these moments of celebration,
Yeah.
I think it creates a really powerful opportunity
Sure.
for empathy, for reflection.
Even action.
Yeah, maybe even action.
So the Oscars become more than just an awards show.
Yeah.
It's a platform
Uh-huh.
for awareness, for support.
And a reminder that we're all human.
Right. Exactly. And do you think this is something we're going to see more of?
I think so.
This blend of entertainment and social consciousness?
Yeah. I think it's a trend we're seeing across the industry.
Yeah.
More and more artists are using their platforms to speak out about things they care about,
To advocate for change.
to connect with their audiences on a deeper level.
I think it's a good thing.
Me too.
So as we wrap up our Oscars deep dive,
Okay.
what are we left with?
Well, we've celebrated the achievements, the artistry, the humor,
Uh-huh.
but we've also acknowledged that deeper context,
Yeah.
the weight of real-world events,
Mm-hmm.
and the potential for entertainment to be a force for good.
You know what? That's the beauty of these deep dives.
What is it?
We peel back the layers, we explore different perspectives,
Uh-huh.
and hopefully we all come away
Yeah,
with a better understanding of the world.
I like that.
So we hope you enjoyed this exploration of the 97th Academy Awards.
A night of celebration and reflection.
Yes. And we want to hear from you guys.
We do.
What resonated with you the most about this year's Oscars?
Do you think award shows should play a bigger role in addressing social issues?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, keep the conversation going.
And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the AIPOP podcast
For more deep dives.
into all sorts of fascinating topics.
Until next time.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.